showing more or less interest in sex. He either showed more or less interest in sex. If he showed more interest, it was only temporarily. He'd come on to me multiple times in one day and then go back to not being interested and avoiding me the day after. Trying new things during sex. He touched me and did so properly when he rarely touched me and never did it right. He tongue-kissed me when he never did, hasn't done since, and told me before that he didn't like it. The day he did that, he tried to get me to have sex outside of the car, at a public park, seemingly mirroring his experience with someone else. Shaving down there suddenly. He shaved more down there more than usual. He claimed it was an accident after he used an electric razor opposed to scissors. He said he knew it looked suspicious before I said anything. This happened around a time he showed more interest in me and also touched me. When it appeared he was keeping it trimmed for months, he called me abusive for remaining suspicious. Becoming more critical. He became more critical of me. Everything I did, even small things, he criticized. Things he never criticized before bothered him. It seemed he was looking for a reason to be annoyed with me, to complain about me. I felt I couldn't do anything right, and he wanted it that way. Becoming more argumentative. He argued with me a lot. He started or escalated arguments, but claimed I caused them. He would argue with me and leave the room almost every single time. It seemed he argued to be able to go off and do whatever it was he was doing. I suspect he was speaking to someone. Being glued to his phone. He'd be glued to his phone 24/7. It was difficult to talk to him because he refused to put it down. He would lose me in public after I'd walk off, and he wouldn't realize that I had. He would drag behind me. He was never present. Spending a long time in the bathroom. He would spend long periods of time in the bathroom on his phone. This happened in combination with being meaner, arguing more, and showing less interest in sex. Avoiding spending time with me. He avoided spending time with me. When I tried, he seemed disinterested and was mean to me. He called me codependent and needy for being upset over this. Staying up all night on his phone/laptop. He would stay up all night on his phone or laptop and sleep into or all of the day. He only did this after I went to bed. He said he was just watching and editing YouTube videos. He was irked whenever I encouraged him to go to bed. Other times, he went to bed right after I woke up, though he claimed he was having sleeping issues. Ditching me, disappearing in public. He vanished in public several times, claiming to have lost me, and it never made any sense. He asked me to wait a few minutes on him in one spot and then didn't come back. He claimed that he did, but he didn't. Being meaner to me. He became meaner towards me. He put me down, insulted me, and was more dismissive of me and my emotions than before. He accused me of ruining his life and told me he didn't love me daily. He acted like he hated me, but he wouldn't leave. He told me to go if he was so bad, and then begged me to stay when I tried. Being temporarily nicer to me. He would sometimes be nicer to me, more loving, more attentive, but only temporarily. At the same time, he bought me flowers when he never did before. He also bought me a gift he couldn't afford. Becoming more guarded with his phone. We both have access to each other's phones, but he'd become more guarded with his. He slapped my hand away from it one time. He yanked it from my hand another time before tilting it to the side, appearing to delete something, and handing it back. And another time he cussed and yelled at me, demanding I brought it back to him after asking me to stand next to him and use it, and I walked off instead. Checking his emails/Facebook constantly. He started checking his emails, and at odd times, like in the middle of the night or at the grocery store. He also started checking his Facebook page and claimed he was worried I was going to share something as I've done before. I used to prank him by sharing things, and he found it funny initially, but then he got really angry the last few times, so I stopped. Now he's constantly checking it, claiming it's an OCD thing to make sure I haven't shared anything or he hasn't accidentally. He questioned me/accused me whenever he was the one behaving suspiciously. He accused me of cheating years before I suspected him and over much less. Whenever he seems up to something and is doing all of the above, he suddenly questions/accuses me again, especially if I do any of what he's doing. He told me that I am the type to cheat, that I'd cheat thinking he had. He would snoop on my phone. Then he'd go long stretches not doing any of this and told me he trusted me and didn't think I'd cheat. He called me controlling and abusive for questioning him. He started out calling me paranoid and crazy. Eventually, he called me controlling and abusive anytime I questioned him. He refused to talk about it. He would get angry and insist he hasn't cheated. He wouldn't talk to me about it without getting heated. He said this was a normal response for someone who is innocent, when he's responded this way from the start of being questioned. He picked apart the reasons I suspect him and said they were stupid. Other times, he acknowledged my reasons. Sometimes he'd acknowledge my reasons and say they were valid, that it does appear as though he has cheated. But then he'd criticize me for not trusting him and say I had no reason not to because he has never cheated. He flip-flopped between validating and dismissing my reasons. He told me he wanted to do whatever it took to rebuild trust and turned his location on 24/7. He previously turned his location on sometimes at my request. He acted okay with at first, but then it started to glitch and he started to complain. He said it felt wrong and controlling because he was innocent. After it said missing activity, he complained about the battery drain, but also about the timeline being too invasive and refused to turn it on. That was until he offered to turn it on 24/7, whilst still acting suspicious and getting upset with me for still questioning him. He started waking up early for no reason. He started waking up early when I was still asleep and was tired the rest of the day. He was ready to go to bed when I was ready for dinner. Our schedules were reversed and he didn't care. He tried to sneak out when I was in bed. I awoke to him appearing to be leaving, claiming he was going to clean the car and urging me to go back to bed. He was impatient and eager to leave and didn't want me to go with him. This happened multiple times. He told me he was going to the post office other times and changed his mind when I stayed up or tried to go with him. One time, he said I was spying when I accompanied him to the dentist. He discouraged me from seeing people and going in places. He told me people at the place he volunteers invited me in on repeat. When I tried to accept this offer, doing so twice, he discouraged me both times. He tried to also discourage me from going to the mechanics with him and other places. He avoids going out in public and says it's due to anxiety. He stopped wanting to go places we used to go, or as many places, a few years back. He said it was anxiety, but he was fine going in alone to places he refused to go in with me. He is now quicker to suggest the cinema or park than anywhere else. He acts on edge in public. A few years ago, before he stopped wanting to go in places, he started to stand away from me. He spoke to me less, blanked me more, and walked off when I was speaking to him. He said this was anxiety, but also that it was in my head. He walked off and blanked me around other women and appeared to hide his face when walking past one of them. He stopped wearing his wedding ring. He always wore it before, wouldn't leave without it. Then he stopped wearing it and told me it was too tight. He lost it and ordered a new one in the same size. It was too small, and so he didn't wear it, demonstrating to me it didn't fit and becoming angry/defensive whenever I would question him over it. Caring more about his appearance suddenly. He would start working out all of the sudden, showing interest in losing weight, but only temporarily. He started caring more about other aspects of his appearance he didn't care about as much before, including how he dressed. He tells people I accuse him of cheating. He tells people, his and my mother, that I accuse him of cheating with zero context, seemingly in an attempt to make me look crazy and to play the victim. He told his mother he couldn't go to another room to get space because I'd think he was cheating. He told me my mother said, after he went off in the rental car for an hour, after starting an argument with me, that he wouldn't have had enough time to cheat. His ex told me, he said he would 2 times. His ex, who he called crazy years before, told me he said he would two-time. He said she was lying to make him look bad. She wasn't the only one who spoke negatively of him and told me the opposite of what he did, but he claimed the other person, a former female friend, was also lying. He uses his grandmother as a cover. He doesn't speak to his grandmother or see her, but then there have been times that he has suddenly visited her more, and I've asked to go, something which I thought he wanted. He agreed to it, but then went back on seeing her. It was when I didn't go that he went to see her. He sent me a photo of her ironing, and this was before I suspected him as much as I do now. He sent a gift that said, "I miss you," and claimed it was an accident. When he came back from seeing her, he had a headache and had to go to bed. He was overly sweet and promised to spend time with me the next day. The next day, he ignored me. When he started visiting her again a while back, he discouraged me from going. He was cleaning the car a lot and took all of my stuff down to my pink hand sanitizer out. He is back to not seeing her again. Are these enough reasons to be as sure he's cheated as I am? Because he doesn't think so. I've said many times the relationship is over, can't be salvaged, because I don't trust him. He says that's not true, because he hasn't done anything.